All right, mic check, mic check. One, two, three. We are live with the Nomadic Cole. Gonna do a Nomadic news today with a special guest. We have Rexuss Prime in the chat, and we're about to go over and screen share to that chat right here, right now, on Discord. All right. Um, quick mic check, and then we'll get this started.
Yep, I'm here.
All right, awesome. All right, so we have nomadic news to get to because, well, Rexus, we're basically on. It's a really interesting moment in time because we're basically on the crux of a lot of huge historical events actually happening right at this moment in this week in time. So it's very exciting. If you want to get into some of it.
Yeah, so sadly with me, I haven't been getting into it, mainly because I'm now trying to do progress on my little book thing. But I will have to say, Minute's Notice Anima Pack 43 probably won't like the scene that I wrote down because it's a bit explicit in its details. So sadly, I haven't really been paying attention to the world events, mainly because I was focused on my book.
Damn.
So
you
though all I know is that
mostly you've been just working on the
Trump
book.
got a new official president portrait. That's all I kind of know right now.
Oh wow. Well, yeah, he did, but here's the other thing. Donald Trump's about to enter office in literally 4 days, you know.
Damn.
Yeah, it's very crazy because like the left is like losing their minds basically over Donald Trump.
Yep. Yep. I've been recently reading some comments by some commies saying that they want a revolution, and some of the shit they say is pretty violent. And I'm thinking of YouTube will delete my comment just for wanting diplomacy in the country of Ukraine and Palestine, but they will allow people saying some radical shit, all because it's communist.
Yeah, I think Ukraine is like they're a pretty fucked up country actually, a post Slavic country. Um so it doesn't really surprise me that they have some whack ass censorship rules.
Yeah, and I mean by people try to say that Russia is worse than Ukraine, but it's like, guys, their sex slavery problem is just as bad as Russia's. They're no better.
Yeah, they're both pretty terrible. They're both basically dictatorships masquerading as democracies. So
Yeah, and I will have to say, apparently some people are now saying that this country is an entire oligarchy. Like, I mean, by some of our politicians are saying that, but it's like,
Bernie Sanders,
hold up.
mostly.
Douglas McGregor. Yep, and it's like the Douglas McGregor said that all the way back in 2023,
Yeah.
and he is right. We are basically an entire oligarchy.
Oh yeah, Bernie Sanders is right. It just feels like he loves the word oligarchy now. It's his new favorite word. He posts every tweet is about oligarchy now. Um, and basically I'm like, yeah, Bernie, we know it's an oligarchy. You're like 4 years behind on the fucking train, dude. Like like we get it, you know? And now every fucking post is about the oligarchy. Now he's commending Joe Biden because now Joe Biden's saying the oligarchy. So now they're allowed to say some of the quiet things out loud. I saw that today. Bernie Sanders was commending Joe Biden for saying stuff about the oligarchy. But I said in Bernie Sanders' comments, I said this. But Bernie, Joe Biden is a part of the oligarchy. He's doing nothing but virtue signaling.
Even Bernie Sanders is like an entire part of it as well. I mean, by he's rich, he's a politician, and he is from Washington D.C. So he's really no better.
Yep. Shoes of a Champion says, FJB, fuck Joe Biden. Let's go, Brandon.
Let's go, Brandon.
We don't like Joe Biden here on this channel, as you can tell.
Yeah, we all don't like him.
Joe Biden. He's the president who's actually taken the longest amount in vacation days of any president in U.S. history.
Oh yeah, he
I
is.
heard Joe Biden a while ago, like a week ago, was going to St. Croix to vacation, and I said, good, have him just stay in St. Croix, take a nap, eat ice cream, just fall asleep basically, and just stay in St. Croix, and then just don't have him do anything like with the country, because clearly we already know that when Joe Biden gets sick, and when Kamala Harris is just completely incompetent or something, Kamala Harris is campaigning, that the obviously the bureaucracy just basically runs itself.
Yeah, and I mean by it is just best just to let Joe Biden just retire and just kind of die a nice peaceful death,
No,
despite the fact
but
that he is a bit of a
instead, Joe
creep.
Biden
But
is
it's like,
signing
his-
100 bills or whatever.
yeah, but it's like just let the dude just retire and probably die a nice peaceful death. Even though yeah, he's a creep, but it's like he's at the end of his line.
Like, yeah, like
Let the gods
just
do the judgment.
just let the natural process take over. I mean, dude, the guy just wants to sleep at the beach and eat fucking ice cream all day. Okay, is that too much to ask? He's the president.
Yeah, like
Like,
I can't blame him for it.
but no, instead he's over there bringing in 1950, like some obscure 1950s bill to shut down all the oil drilling and make it difficult to bring back the energy independence. Because right now we do actually need that sort of Reaganite um, oil policy where it's just focusing on drilling a whole bunch of oil and then cutting taxes for middle class and rich, because that's what we need right now.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's just
We are now
short term policy, but Donald Trump, as far as long term economic policy goes, I think he has trouble with that. But he has good short term economic policy, I guess.
Yeah, and also I will have to say one thing. Apparently, some people created the first air-powered ships, and I'm thinking of, didn't we have these back in the 1700s? At least they were pretty. These ships look like fucking garbage.
Yeah. I mean, they're just like
Like I mean, by the
new
like,
ships
10
in
yachts
the
have like
Navy fleet.
sailed.
Yeah, the new ships are like that they're coming out with, especially like these rich people type of ships that are like all electric now. I'm guessing they're doing these new boats. I mean, they're kind of ugly.
Yeah,
I
it's
don't know
like,
what it is with electric.
didn't we already have these kinds of ships back in the 1700s? At least they were pretty.
Yeah.
Yeah, just that to me, it's like, ooh, wow, you are acting like that you are the first few people to discover it. Okay, then ask the people of ancient Greece. Ask the people of ancient Scandinavia. Ask the people of ancient Egypt.
Yeah.
They were they were the first ones to do it.
Yeah, well, it actually goes way back before even ancient Egypt. Like, look back at like Mesopotamia. They had boats that were basically just baskets that they floated down the Tigris and Euphrates River.
Yep, they were pretty much canoes.
Yeah, and that's actually what the original Noah's Ark story actually comes from. It comes from an oral tradition from Mesopotamia and Sumeria, and then it was passed down over time, turned into the Epic of Gilgamesh, and then eventually it became Noah's flood.
Yep, though I will have to say the whole Great Flood thing, that story pretty much appears everywhere, even in places such as Australia, which of course even they didn't really have boats, but they still had a flood story about people running up the highest hills,
Yeah,
mainly because there were like no boats at that time.
they have a similar flood story like that in Chile as well. Like it's just like the ancient Aztec tribes and stuff. I watched a documentary about it, and basically the documentary goes on to explain um, in a language that would be easy for the fundamentalists to understand. It explained that these are all flood stories from different times and not one singular flood story.
Yeah,
Especially because all these flood stories don't not all of them wipe out the entire population. A lot of times it ends like that Australian flood story, like the Chilean flood story, where they just run up the hill and a bunch of people die and a bunch of stuff gets destroyed, but then they eventually are able to come back and obviously resettle the communities.
yeah. Though I do have to say the areas that were flooded and are still underwater, I just think that they're intrinsically linked to the Ice Age, which that could have been the real Great Flood. That the areas that were once that were once walkable, that it was once dry land, got
Yeah.
flooded and just submerged, such as that one land bridge
Bering,
between the British Isles and the
Bering
rest of Europe.
too. Don't forget the Bering Land Bridge of the Bering Strait.
Yep, and it's like I think that could have been the actual Great Flood, the end of the Ice Age.
Maybe. I mean, it wouldn't be surprised because all that ice would have melted and definitely taken off a lot of shore, for sure.
Yeah, even though we are still technically in an ice age because we still have glaciers.
Yeah. If we didn't have glaciers, because I know the Earth's been like very warm to the point where like we had almost no glaciers.
Oh yeah, like I mean by the entire Carboniferous had no ice at all.
Wow. Like not even at the poles.
Yep,
So,
not even at the poles. It was
what was
completely
this
warm,
close to
and it makes
the
sense
sun
because
then?
it was.
Were we
Yep, it was pretty much the age of arachnids at that time, and I mean it. There were like spiders the size of a human head,
yeah.
and that is without their legs.
Well, we still have spiders the size of a human head today. Like have,
Yeah, but that's
have
with their legs. I mean, mainly we're referring to their whole body.
oh wow. That's impressive. Yeah, they have
Then there are the scorpions. Those ones were pretty much the size of human torsos, along with their tail and scorpion claws.
oh yeah. And it also had the horseshoe crab, which basically is like it's one of those creatures that's really interesting because the horseshoe crab, it's basically remained relatively unchanged over millions of years, you know?
Yep. And anyway, back to the real world. Anything new with the politics?
Oh, of course. So what we do have is that as far as RFK Jr. goes, is we've got the is that there's been discussions with RFK Jr. and the Senate. He's basically talked to a whole bunch of people in the Senate, including John Kennedy. Actually, seems to be interested as well now. Um, and obviously we know about Bernie Sanders and John Fetterman as potential votes for him as well. And according to the sources, that he may have all the votes needed to actually gain Senate confirmation. So that's exciting. And he should gain Senate confirmation sometime after Trump gets elected.
Yep. And so far with the whole Californian wildfire thing, to be honest, it's actually kind of funny seeing all of those celebrities finally pinning the blame on the mayor and Gavin Newsom, and it's like, oh, now you finally blame him. Oh, now you finally side with us,
Yeah, I
fuckers.
saw the California wildfires as well, and when I saw that, I wasn't shocked at all, but I was, saddened because, I actually used to go over, that's the famous Santa Monica Pier that got burnt up. Um, you know, like that place is in Grand Theft Auto, obviously. Um, but I've actually been there a couple of times in real life. So it's pretty crazy that that's now basically
Ash.
ash now. Yeah, it's gone. And then there's just all this craziness about the Delta smelt being, you know, drained, right? Because they wanted to the
Save this one 3-inch long fish.
yeah, the excuse is they wanted to save like minnows basically.
Yep.
And tadpoles and shit. And then yeah,
Yep.
they drained out a water reservoir, and the mayor cut $17.2 million in funding for the LA Fire Department. There's been deadwood that for 35 years was backed up all the way throughout the hillside up north of the Los Angeles area. So like,
Yep.
this was a disaster waiting to happen, and a guy on Joe Rogan said that eventually, that one of these days, that Los Angeles was just going to get a fire with the right wind, the Santa Ana winds coming in from Nevada after a high pressure system caused by trade winds coming across the Pacific Ocean actually went and caused that fire to basically burn through Los Angeles, and the guy
Yeah, and
burnt it all the way to the sea.
they also don't. Yeah, and they also don't even clean their clean their forests too.
Yeah,
They,
that's
they,
what I
they
was
don't
saying.
clean them.
It was deadwoods, 35 years backed up of deadwoods and hang-ups and widowmakers, just dead trees that were not managed. This is things like what, like, if you go to other agencies, you look at like the U.S. Forest Service, or like, you know, Department of Interior sort of things, they are always taking care of fuels work. But guess what? They didn't do that over here in the they didn't do that over here in Los
In
Angeles.
the Golden State.
No, they didn't.
In what used to be the Golden State.
Yeah, now it's the brown state, thanks to Gavin Newsom. It's the doo-doo brown state.
Oh yeah.
Because because of, you heard of the shit map from a while ago.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the homeless guys. They're crazy over there too. But yeah.
Oh yeah.
So there's all that.
Some people.
But also, did you hear that State Farm was actually denying fire claims? Fire insurance and fire insurance claims.
I've heard about
fire.
that. Yeah, I've heard about that, and it's actually kind of bullshit, really.
This is bullshit.
Oh yeah, it is.
Fucking State Farm. More like a bad neighbor. State Farm don't care.
If Jake from State Farm was still white, State Farm would have actually done that.
Drake from State Farm.
I just had to be.
Now it's Drake.
Yep,
from State
Jake.
Farm.
Yep, it is Drake from State Farm, and keep him away from yo kiddies, boys.
Yeah, that guy is he not like us. He not like us. He not like us. He not like us.
Yep.
He not like
Oh
us.
yeah.
He not like us. He not like us. Certified lover boy, certified pedophile.
Yep.
Fucking Kendrick Lamar, man. He fucking roasted him.
Oh yeah.
Thoughts on Jamal Hill versus Yuri Prohashka? Go
Jam-
Yuri Prohashka, I guess.
I don't even pay attention to
US.
sports anyway, so I don't know who the fuck those two are.
It's just it's UFC. Yeah. Rexus doesn't really watch sports. He's more into like geopolitics and religion and stuff.
Same as video games.
Oh yeah, video games, neo folk, metal.
Oh yeah, like and I've been watching a video made by a dude called Acculturation, and he talks about the fact that we all secretly crave the neo medieval. Case in point, Star Wars before the terrible sequel trilogy shit that happened in 2015. Star Wars before that is timeless. It is timeless, and yet Star Trek is looking more outdated.
Yeah. I mean, but here's the thing though. Like now, Star Wars is ruined thanks to what's her face, Kathleen Kennedy, the chick who made
Yeah, but it still
the families.
yeah, but it still kind of doesn't really change the fact that Star Trek is kind of is by kind of aging worse than milk, and I mean by even then, even Star Trek is not like how it was. I mean by they pretty much have their own Kathleen Kennedy ruining it.
Yeah, Kathleen Kennedy just making it so woke, having the new main person as a woman and having all the men characters be weak. It's like it's cringe, bro. It's cringe. I mean, I'm pretty sure they're gonna make
Yeah,
at some point. It's crazy.
yeah,
And they
and it's very clear that
then they do a chick with shaved hair or whatever as a character in Star Wars.
with the intergalactic game or the other one,
No, just
because
in the like
so many of them.
one or whatever, one of the movies.
Ah. Yeah, and what I find to be so fucking stupid about these feminists who shave their head, it's like you're making the very notion of a bald woman look ugly, so, such as cancer patients, or the entire traditional bits from Africa, which yes, women with bald heads is seen as pretty traditional in places in places among African tribes,
Yeah,
which still
Nigeria.
retain their tradition.
You see, like the bald
Yep,
ladies, and they have the basket on their head, and they carry it through the street, and they have like their 6 kids. It's crazy.
yep.
Can you imagine?
It's like,
Can you imagine people having to do that today in like America? Like nobody would go that far to like take care of their family, dude.
yeah,
Like,
but still, it's like,
like
well, why do you guys always have to make
waters.
stuff that is seen as weird, but but a bit appealing, look ugly?
Yeah. Well, yeah, especially
But
because all the every time you have one of these bald characters in a movie, like they are always just the wokest, most off-putting person ever. Like and they're just forced shoved down your face. So I mean, I just get it. Like no wonder people think it's ugly. Of course, and of course we have like Western views of things, and in the last couple hundred years, in the West, we're just used to our women having longish hair.
yep, and I will have to say one thing. I think the whole thing with Kathleen Kennedy making all the male characters weak. I'm just gonna say it. She's a misandrist. She hates men.
Yeah,
She really does.
yeah. No wonder she was like so quick to attack Robert Kennedy Jr. when he ran for president, because she was like she's those one of those SJWs that anyone who dares step against the mainstream narrative, anyone who dares think outside the box is an evil fascist basically to them.
Yeah, and I still kind of find it funny that those said same people will people will call people like you and I sexists, and yet it's like hold up. Why are you guys constantly getting exposed for having some pretty suspicious shit on your computer? As
Yeah.
if you view the as if you view the very thing that you guys are calling us sexist for as sex objects.
Yeah. I think it's just very baffling that they they try to they basically what is it? They put they try to like put the shoe on the other foot, like they try to put their problems onto you. They project. That's what it is. They project it onto you.
Yep, yep. This is something that we call confession by projection.
Yeah. They're just projecting onto their political opponents, basically.
Yep, and yeah, and also with the whole California fires, some people see it as something more akin to Sodom and Gomorrah, and in a way, I can kind of see why, because those
That's
cities
the
allow.
fundamentalists, I think, though, because the same shit happened to Lahaina. If you follow the pattern, the same shit happened to Lahaina. It's the same strategy. It's not like they totally didn't talk about a smart city for 2028 to be built in where? Los Angeles. They did this thing in South America. They did this thing in Europe, and they did it in Lahaina, and it didn't work because the Hawaiians protested against Josh Green and the state taking all the land. However, what happened is a whole bunch of these BlackRock owned little little LLCs came in offering people low cash offers, and some people unfortunately did take it. And that's because they were short on money. All the government offered them, just like this time, they offered them $770. What happened in North Carolina? They offered them $650. What happened in Hawaii? They gave them $700. They give and that's all they give. They give this one-time thing. They give some aid. They have some aid shelters set up, and then the community and state has to take care of the rest. And they just hope that the state will take it to their smart city plan.
Yeah, although when it comes down to Los Angeles, it's like, you know what? Just let the area burn, because I mean by in a way, you can kind of see where they're coming from, especially since that Hollywood is filled to the brim with, how should I say this, rapists.
Yeah.
So yeah, let it burn.
Well, I mean, there's also a lot of, perfectly good people who also live in Los Angeles. And it didn't burn Hollywood, it burned Malibu and Santa Monica mainly. So
Yeah.
like it didn't
Though I
burn
do
Hollywood.
hope those fires destroy the entire Hollywood sign. I really hope it does.
I mean, that would be pretty cool, I guess.
Yep. Oh yeah, apparently there's this one YouTuber that I Yeah, and apparently there's this one YouTuber that I found, and it's like, why the fuck do you have such a seething hatred of British people? Why are you seemingly racist towards them? What did they
Why did
do?
I?
And then I took a look at his channel, and it's like, oh, he's a fan of Alan Moore, an anarcho-communist Brit. Again, these weird little neo-Marxists have such a hatred of white people that they view them as subhumans, just like how a group, of Nazi little Germans viewed Jews as subhumans.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I don't like the British
Yeah. Why do
because
you
we
don't like
threw
them?
their into the sea in 1775-ish.
I think it was 1774 or 3. I don't know.
It was sometime around that time. We threw
Yep.
their tea into the sea. And also the black and tans tried to enslave my ancestors.
The
which
Irish?
is not very nice. Yes, the Irish potato famine. As you can see, I have an Irish flag on my wall. I've had it for years. I'm an Irish flag and American flag.
I don't like Turks. They have always enslaved my Slavic ancestors, so understandable.
Yeah. And then here's the thing here's another news that I think that we could hopefully enjoy is Israel Palestine ceasefire. Donald Trump caused it.
I have heard about it. But the only problem would be Benjamin Netanyahu being such an asshole that he doesn't want to end the war.
Bibi Netanyahu, I don't trust him. I don't trust Bibi at all, because he had already violated a ceasefire with Lebanon. He said that he wasn't going to move on Rafah after Joe Biden said, "Hey, don't move on Rafah." And he said, "I'm not going to move on Rafah." And what did he do? He bombed 49 people to get one suspected terrorist, and they didn't even find or kill the guy.
Yep, and then there's the fact that it was very suspicious timing when the war began. Many people within Israel were like protesting against him, which I still find it to be so interesting because it's like, was this war started on purpose by him just to punish his people?
I think so, because if you look back in time, you'll notice it was Bibi Netanyahu and the far right, basically extremist group of Israelites in the
what we would call Zionists.
Bibi Netanyahu was part of the Zionists that went in and they funded Hamas. They made sure that not the PLA, the Palestinian Authority, would be in control. They made sure it wouldn't be the Fatah. No, what he did is instead he made sure that it was the most extreme group of all of them, Hamas. At least the PLA and the Fatah acknowledge that Israel is a country. Hamas doesn't. Hamas is just straight up evil. Although the PLA and Fatah, they all have their pretty fucked up beliefs if you look into them.
Yeah, though I will have to say the entire PLA movement would have really stuck around, mainly due to one thing. They were the most modest out of those groups.
Yeah,
they were the most moderate.
But now what the PLA is doing, is now the PLA is becoming a counter-terrorist force, basically, and now they're infighting with Hamas, and the same thing happened with ISIS and Al-Qaeda, right? Yeah,
yep.
with ISIS. Well, and now it's happening in Afghanistan with the Taliban and ISIS, right? What's left of ISIS, basically. The same thing happened, these inter-terrorist wars, and basically a lot of the Palestinians are criticizing the PLA now, saying that the PLA are Zionists because they're fighting Hamas. But the thing is the PLA is just doing this so they don't get their shit destroyed by Donald Trump when he gets into office. Because Donald Trump, he's the guy, I think when he goes into those meetings, he's gonna bring in like one of his neocon friends who's gonna say, "We're just gonna bomb everything if you guys don't just stop fighting."
Oh yeah, did you hear of what happened in Hawaii? There was some ultra orthodox synagogue, and it was exposed for trafficking children.
Oh wow. That's
insane.
I
think there will be some great exposing of the synagogues. You know, the Jewish synagogues. I think that there will be one big old exposing showing that they are really no better than what the Catholic Church did. That is what I'm saying.
Or the Mormons. Every time this conversation comes up, everyone forgets the Mormons. Remember what happened to the Mormons a while back? the Mormons in Utah, the politicians, the Republican politicians in Utah, let the Mormons off the hook for their crimes against minors and children.
Oh
They
yeah,
let a
like I
bunch
mean
of the
by
missionaries
oh
get off
yeah,
scot free.
and before that, the U.S. government sent in the army, and Brigham Young won. Brigham Young, a Mormon, won against the U.S. Army.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And then there's the entire blood atonement ritual, which if you don't know what that is, you basically lightly cut your own stomach and neck, saying pretty much pledging this: if you do go against the Mormon Church, men will find you, and they will cut open those said areas and pour your own guts out for the beasts of the land to feast on. That is an old that is an old practice from the Mormon Church, and it has been written out of the Book of Mormon.
Yeah. Well, yeah, the Book of Mormon has changed so many times, and it's literally only been like 100 years. I mean, I don't believe the Mormons at all. I think that like they just have a lot of crazy rituals, and they believe a lot of weird stuff, like like the modern Nazareth or whatever being New Jersey is really weird.
Yeah,
You know,
like I mean by there's a reason why some people say
like
that they aren't even Christians, and this is true. They only talk about Jesus on I don't know how should I say this,
well,
Easter or Christmas. That is the only
well,
time when they will talk about Jesus.
I will say this actually. The Mormons now, in case you don't know, are actually making a new change. So don't fall for them. They're making a new change. They've for the last few years, as many of them know, they don't like. They keep saying we don't like to be called Mormons. We want to be called the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, right?
The
And
LDS.
now and now, yes, and now they want it to be shortened to the LDS or the Church of LDS or the Church of Christ of LDS, right?
Yeah,
And now
though
I
their
see the
own
videos.
book is called it is
Restoration
literally called the Book of
rituals.
Mormon. Like I mean by what
Yeah,
doesn't make sense is that is that these people read a book literally called the Book of Mormon. The Book of Mormon.
yeah.
Oh yeah, and I think I said this a few months ago. Some people are oh yeah, and I think I said this a few months ago. Some people have been saying that Joseph Smith was wa- was monogamous. No, he wasn't. He was a
No,
gigolo. He fucked every single woman he saw.
he was poly.
Yep, and they all try to say that he all died like a saint, but it's like, dude, he died running away whilst getting shot in the back. He died guns ablazing.
He died while being chased down by a bunch of St. Louis Cowboys.
Yep, he died being chased down by an angry mob because of what he did.
Basically not being a Protestant Christian.
Oh no, he was a really bad dude. Like,
Well, yeah, because he also did fraud. He did commit actual fraud on people, which pissed people off more. But also, there was obviously the religious undertone was that the Christians really didn't like these Mormon guys hanging around too much.
yep,
So
yeah,
what did they do? They ran him out of town,
yep. And they went to
and that,
Utah,
that was the for like
and that is
18.
where, yep. And they went to Utah, and that is where my how should I say this? John Moses Browning was born. Yeah, that's right. The dude who created the M2 Browning machine gun, the M2 Browning machine gun, and the M1911 was a Mormon.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah,
Crazy
those guys
considering the
are
Mormons
really
the
vicious.
Mormons, they don't like violence, like they tend to say they really don't like violence at all. Like they don't like
And yet they
that's what
created
they
and yet this one dude, this Mormon, created some of the most powerful weapons in our own military.
like But they're not even that's funny because they're not even allowed to watch PG-13 movies or read books with swear words in them or listen to like rap music, you know?
Oh, oh yeah, like I mean by there's a reason why I am why I am pretty much an entire outcast in my home in Utah because it's like yeah, I love Berserk, an entire manga that is ultra violent. I like that stuff.
It's
And it's
very
also
it's,
pretty good.
that's good.
But yeah, with the whole Jew thing, I think something similar will happen with the entire with the entire synagogues, like how it happened with the Mormon Church. I think something similar will come up.
Yeah, hopefully. Hopefully they get basically I'm against any of these religions that is like trafficking and being pedos basically. So and anytime they get exposed, I think it's a good thing. Catch
Yeah,
them with their pants.
yep. Catch them with their pants down.
Now most of the exposes is actually for YouTube. Most of the exposes guys is actually now like YouTubers. And I actually do have to say this. So I was given a tip by my friend Red Wolf, who told me, I think you guys might remember Victor Z Husky. Well, yeah, Victor Z Husky apparently is a pedo.
Doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, he's a cringe lord pedo, basically.
I'm just gonna ask this: why is it so prevalent in places such as the furry community? Oh wait, I think I know why. One half
I think
of the
I
members in
think that
that community are just mentally ill, and those groomers know that, and they will exploit them.
yeah, I think another part that is that like as much as a lot of the fandom will try to actually go against because obviously people do get canceled um like all the time like furry gamers against Trump for example absolutely canceled seen plenty of people speak out against him
Oh yeah, like I mean
um
by there have been people speaking out against Snow Dragon, the maker of Changed, because he's into Shotokan. And if you don't know what Shota is, it's the male version of Lolicon. That's what it is.
oh
The male version of Lolicon.
yeah so these people obviously get exposed all the time the thing is how do we prevent them from infesting in the community. And that unfortunately is where the community gets it wrong. I think they're accepting, sure, but a little bit too accepting,
Yeah, there's
right?
a
Like
reason.
to the point where it gets to a point where where like everything that is completely of sexual nature is just like brushed off to the side. But if you but it takes a lot of digging to actually get like the bad people. You know, it takes a lot of digging to get the pedos and the zoos out of
Yeah,
there.
like I mean, by one of the main reasons why I absolutely hate the furry community is mainly due to the fact that it is open and accepting, and yet, oddly enough, it is the most toxic.
Oh yeah, like if you basically unfortunately it's very hard to actually be like in part of a mainstream server in the fandom without like if you're like conservative or libertarian, like you can get canceled pretty
Or
easily
at
and people
least
will like
anyone
try to
who
dock.
doesn't agree with that family with that fandom. Like I mean, I've seen some people who don't agree with them getting doxxed as well, and those people aren't even anti-furries. Oddly enough, half of them are
Yeah.
just normal people who just don't like the entire some of the activities that fandom does.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely something I think the community needs to seriously take a look at and work on even more. I know I'm glad that it's actually becoming more mainstream to actually call out and expose these pedos. Um, I think the political culture needs to change though. Okay, there's a problem is there's not a space for
Conservatives.
libertarians, conservatives. That was what the original conservative furry server back in like 2020, 2021 was supposed to do. Give us a proper
And then he
place,
became a
because
commie.
all you had was the mainstream, which was mostly far left, leftist, and like center left, basically, right?
Yeah,
And
and
then
then there was the entire, and then there was the entire
you had
conflict.
Foxler and the very far right people, and then you had no voice for the regular conservatives, libertarians, independents, right?
Yeah,
You
then
had no
there
room
are
for that.
the enlightened centrists, which really in actuality they're just leftists with massive fucking egos, all because ooh wow you can be at least somewhat moderate. Ooh wow.
I mean, basically, the enlightened centrist to me is just basically like people like Hunter Avalon. I think is now quote unquote an enlightened centrist now, but he's basically just like repeating fucking what's that guy's face John Stewart talking points, basically.
Yeah, like I mean by most of these enlightened centrists tend to be very close following with the whole cultural zeitgeist. And if you dare question it, you will get bullied for it.
I mean,
There's a
I think the enlightened centrists though are actually now starting to get pushed away from the left, because recently I saw it was Bernie Sanders and Jon Stewart. They were basically kind of trashing on the left on the show, and basically like they've been considering some of RFK Jr.'s points. So maybe they're actually starting to make a face turn.
Yeah,
I
but
think
to be honest,
the
but
left
to be honest, I
starting
still probably
the left
won't.
is starting to separate.
Yeah, but to be honest, I probably still won't really accept them in because it's like, yeah, no, you had time to wake up. Sorry,
Me,
but I don't believe in
I say
redemption.
join the bandwagon. But if you fuck us over, you're going back to the left again.
Yep, but
But
yeah.
join the bandwagon. We need all the votes in the Senate we can get.
Oh yeah, and also I've been seeing this whole dream drama, and it's like this situation is not crazy at all. I should really make a video explaining why I really hate slop, particularly that kind of shit, because it's just slop.
Mm. So what is the dream drama?
Apparently, Dream made a meme making fun of Tommy Unit's audience just by saying the R word, retard. And Tommy Unit got mad
Yeah.
because he said that word. And it's like,
Oh.
why? Just why? That word ain't even a slur when you think about it.
Not really. I mean, I just never took offense to it, honestly. Like,
Yeah, like
I
I mean,
mean,
by even
all my friends at school were saying retard, like in gym class and shit. So I don't see
yeah, like I mean
why
by
what
yeah,
deal.
like I mean by and of course even back in the 1960s, it was actually used as a word to describe people who actually have mental disabilities, mainly because again, we just mainly relied on simple and straight to the point language. That is what we all relied on. And even then, people like I pretty much have that entire R word pass because it's like, and with me, I just don't care. I to just say whatever you want. Just
Yeah.
simply saying, just simply saying this group is allowed to say it. Just sounds pretty fucking communist, to be honest. It's like, no, everyone is allowed to say what you guys consider to be a slur. Because even then, a word that hurts people, a word that offends people, just sounds stupid. The idea of it sounds stupid.
Yeah. What do you think of this news? The FDA now officially bans red dye number 3 from food and beverages, thanks to
Nice.
RFK Jr. and his putting attention onto the issue of chemicals and dyes in our food that have already been banned in Europe, by the way. Like there's
Same with
actually like
same with
12
Canada.
years of hard science about this food dye stuff that
Oh yeah,
about the food dyes,
even
solid
Canada
science
bans.
on
Oh yeah, even Canada has that stuff banned, despite the fact that they are more woke than California.
it. Yeah. We need to also get rid of Red 40. I can't wait for us to get rid of Red 40. And McDonald's, switch to beef tallow.
Yeah, let's make McDonald's at least healthy.
Well, I mean, it's never going to be healthy, but it's going to be at least somewhat healthier than having seed oils.
Oh yeah.
I don't know why, but every time I say the word seed oils, I think of doing the RFK impression. Seed oils.
Yeah, pretty much.
Uh, his voice is kind of fun to do, but it's very difficult to get it right.
Yeah,
But I saw Freedom Tunes did a pretty funny one.
oh,
And
for
here's
free.
another one. Here's another one. Children exposed to higher fluoride levels have a lower IQ, as a government study shows.
Yep,
We
that's sadly
fucking
the
told
case.
them
Oh
so.
yeah,
They know that
and also let us make those chemicals in the water less gay. And I mean it. Though I mean it, what all caused those chemicals in the water
no,
was
no
mainly
more
due
atrazine.
to birth control
No,
pills.
yeah, no atrazine.
Yep, it's like
That's what
perhaps
Alex Jones is right about. They're putting chemicals in the water that are turning the freaking frogs gay.
Alex Jones is just so fucking base because he's just absolutely unhinged. And I mean it, like,
He's
there have been memes made out of his rage moments. I just fucking
yeah,
love the dude.
Alex Jones is funny.
Yes,
In
we all knew.
in other news, just to finish off with some sports, Dallas Cowboys have actually they fired Mike McCarthy, the head coach. So we should be getting a new head coach in the future. And yeah, there's the wild card playoffs actually happened. The main points is that the Ravens obviously won their game. They destroyed the Steelers. The Buffalo Bills, I believe they beat the um, the Denver Broncos. Yeah, they destroyed the Denver Broncos 31-7. Um, the Chargers actually lost their game to the Texans. John Gruden got put in the dirty bubble because it was the SpongeBob game, and that was kind of sad. And then there was the Washington Commanders actually won against the Buccaneers, and the LA Rams ended up beating the Minnesota Vikings as well.
Yep.
So that was basically the wild card rundown. In other news in Hawaii news, we have volcano eruption. The volcano is again had eruption. Pressures beneath the caldera actually with pressurized gases beneath the caldera in the chambers actually caused more magma to spew out of the crust and surface as lava. And yeah, it had a 200-foot shower of lava within the crater. So very interesting.
Yep.
And
Doesn't surprise
then,
me.
yeah, that's about all we have for the news. I don't know if you have anything else.
I don't know, just pretty much YouTube kind of sucks. Now, of course, I would probably talk about something from oh, I don't know, Palestine or Ukraine, but oddly enough, I haven't been interested into that bit lately. Though I will have to say, the entire LA mayor is so fucking stupid and cowardly. It's like went to Ghana all because yes, am a woman, finally won an entire election there. But judging by Ghana's political history, she will probably last for about like 2 months before getting violently beheaded.
Yeah, Ghana's a crazy country, dude. Like they're just rambunctious as fuck, and they're just third world pretty much. There's no saving
Yeah.
them.
Though I will have to say there is one thing interesting that most people don't talk about. Many people like to say this. Black women don't like white boys. Then explain to me why 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 is the entire marriage groups between white men and black women have the lowest divorce percentage rates out of all marriage groups, either interracial or not. Explain to me that.
Yeah, I don't get it, Skip. I don't get it.
It's like it is like this. So you are saying that they don't like white boys? Then explain to me why do they have the lowest divorce rates out of all groups?
Yeah. You know, here's the other thing too is I think I showed you that video about the 4B movement.
Oh
That
yeah, they're pretty much.
they're basically just incel, but for women. Like, do you get the comparison?
Yeah, they pretty much are. Though I will have to say the word incel is just kind of meaningless, if you ask me, because especially since if you do look it up on Wikipedia, it's like, hold up, this was a word made up by some queer Canadian, so it's basically a slur. There's a reason why I don't really use incel, because it's like, okay, I'll
All
just,
incel
I'll
means
yeah, I
involuntary.
know. Involuntary celibate. I know what it means, but it's like, why not just call these women crazy bitches and just call those incels losers? That is
Losers.
more accurate.
Yeah, virgins,
Yep. Just
smarks, neckbeards. You get it. You get
yep.
the point.
Oh yeah.
There's a million names for incels, dude.
Yep.
Because all it really means is like all incel really refers to is just a basement dweller. At the end of the day, a
Yeah.
neckbeard, Discord mod, Reddit mod, basement dweller.
Yeah. But I will have to say that the way feminists use it, it's like, why do you use it to describe men you hate? Is it a slur? And I will have to say it just pretty much is, especially since and since that word was made by some queer Canadian back in like 1997. So that really kind
Yeah.
of feeds into that little point of, yeah, it is just a slur.
Uh, I mean, I would say that it's fine. It's probably appropriate match though for the 4B movement because, like, look, it's really not that different. Okay,
Yeah, they are
the
really not that
4B
different. The only real
they shape
difference is the South
they shape.
Korean movement.
Oh, there's a South Korean 4B movement.
Oh yeah, that one has been around for a lot longer than the American one, and it was created in response to the entire incels within South Korea. And I will have to say one thing: there are flat out horror stories about the incels within South Korea. Some of them are pretty
And
genuinely
also
terrifying.
Japan too. Also Japan too. Like there's people who like live off the computer basically. Like I know
Oh yeah,
Chronically
like
Online is these
the
guys.
entire Hiki Omori title is just accurate, and the phrase Hiki Omori literally means you literally have no life. You just live on your computer, and some of them are women, and they tend to be real man haters.
Oh,
And I mean by that, there have been horror
these are
stories
real.
of them violently mutilating men.
Yeah, look at this dude. He lives in like fucking filth, dude. The Hikikomori. This dude is like he's got fucking clothes all over his room. He's got fucking bags of chips and fucking tartar sauce on his couch. He looks depressed as fuck, honestly. This dude's gonna kill himself with a samurai sword, I think. He's gonna do a Kurt Cobain real quick with that thing. So we gotta watch out for his mental health.
Yeah. But when it comes down to Japan and South Korea, lock him up. Because he will probably kill other people before killing himself.
Oh. Because they're kind of crazy like that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Never ever mess with the Asians.
Yeah. Okay. Well, all right. Great having you on the stream. Good to have a nice laugh. Nice video for today. Thanks for going over the news with me.
Yep.
Alrighty. We'll see you.
It is a nice one.
All right. Have a good
We will see you guys tomorrow.
And shout out your channel real quick.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, guys. I'm now back on YouTube. It is called Rexuss Prime. But the @ is now is called Mr. Colivrat. So if you somehow don't find my channel, just type in Mr. Colivrat.
At Mr. Colivrat.
So yeah, that's all I put
in the comments, so they can read it. Here you go. At
Yep, I'll type
Mr. Colivrat. All
Yep, I'll type it out.
or is it lowercase?
Yep, time 2.
Alrighty. Well, thank you for coming on. We'll see you next time. Have a good day, Rexuss.
Yep, you too.
Bye. All right, guys. What a great conversation, productive conversation with our friend Rexuss Prime. We'll see you guys next time for another episode of Nomadic News. And if you haven't already, be sure you guys leave a like, leave a comment, share, and of course, subscribe for more. Nailed it. Ending stream in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.